I'm Lenn Woolston. I am a writer, blogger, and nerd. Today we're going to be talking about why querying takes so long. So for those of you who are not kind of familiar with the whole querying process, querying is pitching your completed manuscript to agents and or editors in the hopes of becoming their client with the goal of publishing your work into a novel. But what doesn't get discussed enough is the time that it takes to get that idea, that completed manuscript, all the way into the hands of agents and editors by means of querying, because it is a long process. But why is it so long? Well, we're going to discuss that right now. The first reason is research. It takes a lot of the writer's time and energy just researching who to send their work to. Where did they send their work to? What kind of sample do they give with their query letter, if that's even part of it? All of that is research. As a writer, it is your responsibility to come up with your agent list, to make it in whatever organized fashion that you can so that you know who to query, when, and what to send them, and to follow up on anything that you need to, whether it be requests from them, either a partial or a full, or just keeping a timeline. But all of that takes a lot of the writer's time. Now, once you have assembled your querying agents and editors that you're ready to send all your work to, the other factor that takes a lot of the writer's time is simply sending out the query materials. Now, I can say that the most successful queries that have landed people an agent has come because they didn't just send out a batch query to all the agents on the same email, but know that they individually sent a query material package to that specific agent or the editor with exactly what they are looking for. Because you'll find that there are some agents that are requesting 5 pages, 10 pages, the first 3 chapters, along with that query letter, and some require a synopsis. So once you have assembled all of those requested materials that you know are just going for the query portion, then you have to send out individual queries, which takes a lot of time. You also will find that you will be most successful if you personalize your query, which means that for that specific agent or editor, you are putting in a clear reason why you are sending them the work and not somebody else. And again, that takes time. So once the writer has gone through this whole process and time and energy of just creating all the query materials, getting them ready, then sending them out, next comes an inbox overload. For a second, writers, I ask that you just kind of think what it must be like as an agent or editor to just open up your email where it has a bunch of queries. Can you think about, just in comparison to when you're in your own email and you may find that there are like different promotions or other things that are sent your way, even spam. Can you imagine having to respond to every single one of those? It takes a lot of time. And likewise, that's what agents and editors have to go through, is kind of just being in this inbox overload, especially when they first open up to queries again, where they'll find that there's just an influx, and so it takes literal time for them to go through each submission. Here's another thing to consider, writers. When you are doing a critique, whether you're a critique partner or you're beta reading, and you have a manuscript and you're going through the whole thing, think about how much time it takes for you to get that back to the author. It may take a few weeks, even a few months, and that's just one manuscript. Can you imagine having a bunch, like dozens upon dozens of full requests that you have to read and kind of give feedback on? It takes a lot of time. Now, speaking of time, it's also important to mention that there are seasons in publishing. Now, I won't say this is a hard, fast rule for all agents and editors out there, but there is something to note. Typically, you'll find that at the beginning of the year and in spring, that's when a lot of things are happening. That's when you'll find that there are agents that are picking up new clients and everything, and things seem to be going really fast. But then summer rolls around, And with summer, things tend to slow down in the publishing world. There's a lot of vacations that people have. They just close to submissions at that time, and there's just a kind of a lull. But then you'll find that fall comes around and it's almost back to school time, if you will, and all of a sudden the publishing game will kind of pick up again, and there will be book releases happening. They'll also be attaining new clients at that time, and so you'll kind of see that there's momentum. And then the winter time comes around and the holidays are here, and then it kind of takes a lull again once in the publishing world. Again, this isn't a hard, fast rule, but it is something to mention because when you query can also kind of affect how much time it is before you get a response. All right, so you've already gotten to that point where you have submitted your request and you've gotten your full manuscripts to that agent, and then they tell you that it's going to take 3 months at least until you hear back. Why so long? Well, you have to remember that as an agent or an editor, they have to consider all requests with a huge dose of investment. When it comes to signing with a writer, it is an investment on the agent and editor's behalf. They are not only investing their time, they're also investing their energy, and a lot has to go into somebody who is very passionate about your work so that they can help you champion it to get it to that publishable state. So with that, it's going to take some time. There are some agents and editors, when they get a full request, they may be on the fence about it. And depending on whether or not you have an editorial agent, which means that it's an agent who is willing to work on your manuscript with you because they believe in your story but might need a few tweaks, that's going to take some time. Again, it's in this consideration time where they're trying to weigh whether or not this particular project is something that they want to take on this time. As a writer, I know it's really hard to be in that position where you're kind of just in that waiting game and trying to figure out, is this going to be the one? And it comes with a lot of time. And lastly, something else to point out about why querying takes so long is even if you get an agent that is willing to take upon you as a new client, it's going to take 6 months to few years before that book actually becomes in a publishable state. There is so much that has to happen, and the cards all have to align and everything, and you have to go on submission and have a publisher pick you up, and it takes time. So for those of you who are out there querying, let me just give you a little peace of mind by saying that in this whole time waiting aspect, know that you're going to need patience, you're going to need ambition, you're going to need determination, and you're going to need patience. But trust me, it will be worth it, and you will be rewarded for all of the hard work and the patience that you put into it. It's just luck and timing when it comes down to it. And yes, it's very hard, but if you do your part and get all of your query submissions in the exact place they should be to exactly who you're looking for and exactly what they're requesting, then you just have to wait and see what happens. So now you have a better glimpse as to why the querying process takes so long. And I just want to give you some encouragement that I know that it's very hard. I know what it's like to be in the query trenches. And so if you are in the query trenches, let me know in the comment section down below so I can further encourage you. Stick with it, writers, because I can tell you that you will see it happen one day. Just don't give up and just do the best that you can and get through the querying process, because you know what? You'll be one step closer to getting that book of yours into hands of readers. So with that, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out my channel. Go ahead and give this video a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe on your way out if you haven't already. And until next video, guys, bye!